All right, everybody, what's going on? And welcome to today's edition of SWAC Talk, the show where we cover the SWAC inside and out. Of course, I'm your tour guide around the SWAC, see what's coming at you. And we back in the house again, man. We're going to break down this last game of the week. We're going to recap this UAPB Alabama A&M game that was supposed to take place in St. Louis today, but it actually ended up taking place in Pine Bluff today. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that game. Um, Attendance 4,172 is the number that they dropped today. Like I said, we talked about the issue with the promoters and everything, so we're not gonna waste no time on that. We're gonna go ahead and jump into this, man. Like I said, hit those socials. They're on the screen. Facebook is Swag Talk, Instagram Swag Talk, Twitter Swag Talk 76. Um, hit it up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Like the video, share them, and hit that notification bell so you can be alerted to when videos like this drop on a different day. So don't miss out. So let's go ahead and jump in this game, man. As you can see on the screen, the Bulldogs got a 34-31 victory over the Golden Lions. Um, this was a chaotic type of weekend for both teams, man. They had to kind of make some things happen out of the blue, because they were expected to play in one place, they had to play in another day, but they made it happen. Turned out to be a pretty interesting game. So Alabama A&M scored first on a 30-yard field goal from Victor Barbosa, with 9:18 left in the first quarter. 3-0 Bulldogs led. Kenny Hambrick caught a 20-yard pass from Xavier Langford. Extra point good. That came with 5:43 in the first quarter. That gave the Bulldogs a 10-0 lead. Kayvon Britton would get a 58-yard touchdown for UAPB to get them on the board. Extra point good. That came with 4:11 in the first quarter. The score was 10-7 at that point. Britton would get another touchdown run, this time from 2 yards out, with 43 seconds left in the first quarter to make the score 14-10 for UAPB at that point. Jemison would get a 10-yard run for the Bulldogs with 14:05 left in the second quarter. Extra point good, giving the Bulldogs a 17-14 lead. Langford would run a 10-yard touchdown for AAMU. Um, Extra point good. That came with 7:46 in the second quarter. Bulldogs led 24-14 at that point. Right before halftime, with about 12 seconds left, Chris Thompson kicked a 42-yard field goal for Pine Bluff, making the score 24-17, which was our halftime score. 9:51 left in the third quarter. Britton gets his third touchdown of the night, this time from 1 yard out. Extra point good. Ties the game up at 24. 6:59 left in the third quarter. Jemison gets a 5-yard touchdown run. Extra point good, 31-24. At that point, there was a 9-play, 65-yard drive that took 2:52 off the clock. 11:58 left in the game. Kayvon Britton gets his fourth touchdown of the night. This time from 4 yards out, extra point good. Uh, Ties the score up at 31. And then with 5 minutes and 59 seconds left in the game, Barbosa gets a 29-yard field goal for Alabama A&M to make the score 34-31. Let's take a look at the last few possessions of this game, just to see what happened after A&M kicked that field goal. They kicked off to UAPB, kicked the ball out of bounds, so Pine Bluff got the ball at 35. They drove the ball to the Alabama A&M 40, where they turned the ball over on downs. The Bulldogs got the ball back with a minute and 48 seconds left on the clock, and they would run the clock out. So Pine Bluff had an opportunity to drive. They drove down to the Bulldog 40-yard line, and they could not do anything at that point. Um, they had a 1st and 10. They ran for no gain. They threw an incomplete pass on second down. They threw an incomplete pass on third down. But they ran for no gain on third down. Then they threw an incomplete pass on fourth down. So just got close, but could not get close enough to score a tying field goal or take the lead. And that's how A&M would end up winning this game. 21 first downs for the Bulldogs, 17 for the Golden Lions. 226 on the ground for Alabama A&M on 41 carries, 5.5 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns. UAPB 294 on the ground, big game for them. 50 carries, 5.9 yards per carry, 4 touchdowns. 162 yards passing for the Bulldogs, 12 of 21, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. 39 yards passing for UAPB. So Passing game was non-existent, 8 of 14, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. 388 on the total offense for the Bulldogs was 62 plays, 6.3 yards per play. They fumbled once and didn't lose it. They had 6 penalties for 116 yards, 333 yards for Pine Bluff, 64 plays, 5.2 yards per play. They didn't fumble at all. They had 3 penalties for 28 yards. Like I said, Bulldogs 6 penalties, 116 yards, 39-yard average punts for Alabama A&M and 48-yard average for Pine Bluff. Time of possession, 36 minutes and 5 seconds for Alabama A&M. 3 of 8 on third downs, no fourth down conversion attempts. Pine Bluff, 23 minutes, 55 seconds time of possession. 9 of 16 on third downs, 1 of 2 on fourth downs. Bulldogs, 6 of 6 in the red zone. Golden Lions, 2 of 2. 4 sacks for Alabama A&M, 1 for Pine Bluff. Both teams made all 4 of their extra points. Alabama A&M was 2 of 2 on field goals, and Pine Bluff was 1 for 1. Individually, Xavier Langford, 12 of 21, 162 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, 1 sack. Chance Edwards, 8 of 14 for 39 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He was sacked 4 times. Eaglin, 19 carries, 126 yards for the Bulldogs, average 6.6 yards per carry. Jemison, 12 carries, 69 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5.8 yards per carry. Langford, 9 carries for 37 yards and a touchdown, 4.1 yards per carry. Kayvon Britton, 32 carries, 277 yards, 4 touchdowns, longer 78, average 8.7 yards per carry. Man, if you had that dude on your fantasy team, where he would get you so many points, that's just a tremendous game, man. That's just a great single effort from one guy, basically, to keep this team in this game. O-line did a great job of opening up holes for him, but he did a lot of this work for Pine Bluff to keep them in the game. They needed every one of those yards to stay in this game. Keenan Hambrick, 4 catches, 47 yards, and a touchdown. Johnson, 1 catch for 30 yards. Young, 2 for 26. Jemison, 1 for 26. Payne, 1 for 16. Gardner, 2 for 12. Cox, 1 for 5. Maurice Lloyd, 2 for 13 for Pine Bluff. Dawkins, 2 for 11. Cochran, 2 for 7. Prince, 1 for 7. And Britton, 1 for 1. Drake Terry had 14 tackles for the Bulldogs. Hayes, 10. Douglas and Hester had 7. Hope with 6 tackles for loss. Hayes and Richardson each had 1.5. Wesley and McNeil with 1. Hester, Eberhardt, Tamu, and Hope had a half a tackle for loss apiece. Sacks went to Hayes, Wesley, Richardson, and McNeil. No forced fumbles. Interceptions were by Terry and Hope. Pine Bluff was led by Ewell with 12 tackles, Williams with 9, Jones with 8, and Henderson with 6 tackles for loss. Williams, Lukeman, and Dozier each had 1 apiece. Clark and Ewell had a half a tackle for loss apiece, and the sack was by Lukeman. No forced fumbles and no interceptions. So just a great effort by Kayvon Britton just to keep this team in this game, man. I mean, the 277 on the ground is definitely a nice night. Great night, 4 touchdowns. Bulldogs were just able to hold on and win this game. Really entertaining game, considering everything that took place in this game. Just the lead up to this game was just, one of those things where you kind of wish this game would have been where it was. I mean, it's just, one of those nights. But it was a great game at the end of everything. You really can't knock that. And so that wraps up week 7. So we got us a nice game to close out the week, and now we are officially in week 8. So this game, this was a tremendous effort for him. And let's look at some of the league stats, man. We're gonna take a quick look at some of the league stats. Before we do that, let's jump back into the standings. Like I said, this game was basically an elimination game for Pine Bluff. Losing this game, they're 0-4 in the conference right now, 2-5 overall, so they are pretty much out. They've already lost to Southern and Alcorn, so they've already lost to two of the teams that are in first place, and they're sitting in a tough spot. They lost to Southern already as well, so they would need those teams to lose multiple games to have a chance and win out. So they're pretty much eliminated. A&M keep their hopes alive because they still have to play JSU. So that really, at least mathematically keeps them in the race. But right now, Grambling and Pine Bluff are pretty much out as we speak right now. So let's take we're not going to go too deep into this week, but I kind of want to look at some of the league leaders in everything right now. We're going to run through some of these stats and just take a quick look at some of the top teams. Right now, Jackson State is the leading team in scoring offense at 44 points a game. Southern second at 38. Pine Bluff is third at 29. Alcorn is fourth at 23.7. FAMU is fifth at 23.1. Prairie View is sixth at 23. We just kind of look at the top group. Valley last at 8.6 points per game. Scoring defense, Jackson State leads that as well at 9.5 points per game. Southern is second at 20.3 points per game. Alabama State is third at 20.4. Prairie View is fourth at 24.8. Alcorn is fifth at 25.2. And FAMU is sixth at 27.1. And Bethune-Cookman is the last place team in scoring defense at 41 points per game allowed. Jackson State leads the league in total offense at 509 yards per game. Southern second, 434. Alcorn third, 367. Alabama A&M fourth, 364. FAMU fifth, 342. Bethune-Cookman sixth, 342 even. FAMU is 342.6. Valley is last at 236.1. Score total defense, Jackson State 180 yards per game allowed, which is first place. Southern second, 305. Alabama State third, 314.7. Prairie View 335.8. Fifth place, FAMU 367.1. Alcorn 371.5. And Valley's last in this as well at 462. Just a quick surprise to me. Texas Southern is 10th in total offense. I really, they were second or third in that stat last season. So offense is taking a big step back. So that's a surprise to me. Alabama A&M's offense is pretty productive, but Bethune-Cookman's offense at times has been productive. So to see those two teams kind of, in the top half is a bit of a surprise. Defensively, Southern's defense is a big surprise this season. If you know where they were last year, to be in second place at this point is a big improvement for them. Other than that, Alabama A&M's defense is kind of a mid-pack defense, so they've been playing better this season. Grambling's defense being 10th place, that's kind of a surprise. They were a much better defense last season. They've struggled this year. Rushing offense, Southern is first at 232 yards per game. Alcorn second, 199 yards per game. Prairie View third, 196. Pine Bluff is fourth, 172. Jackson State fifth, 165. And Alabama A&M is sixth at 159. JSU's rushing offense has improved a lot this season. So, basically to go from last to fifth at this point is a huge jump. Alabama A&M's run offense has been pretty good. Prairie View's been, really good running the ball. Pine Bluff, other than Southern and Alcorn, who are probably givens in the run game, those teams are definitely a surprise to be that high. Valley has not ran the ball well this season. I thought they would run it better this year, but they haven't. Other than that, it's hit or miss with everybody else. Run defense, Jackson State first, 66.8 yards per game. Southern second, 117 yards per game. Alabama State third, 133 yards per game. Valley fourth, 141. Prairie View fifth, 142. Alcorn sixth, 147 and a half. Texas Southern last in run defense at 241. Like I said, in the total defense, Southern's defense has improved so much. So seeing them in that top 2 or 3 in every stat has been a really surprise for this season. Alabama State's defense has been solid all year. Obviously, JSU defense is the best in the league right now. Valley run defense has been really good. Prairie View defense has been good. Alcorn as well. Those teams have gotten better on the D lines this season. Jackson State leads the league in passing offense at 343 per game. FAMU 255. Bethune-Cookman 210. Alabama A&M 204. Alabama State 202.1. Southern 201.8. Valley 106 yards per game total passing offense. So Prairie View's passing offense is a surprise. Texas Southern being 10th in passing offense is definitely a big surprise. That this team, is kind of been up and down on offense. Bethune-Cookman's passing game has improved as the season goes on. Their problem has been turnovers. Same thing with Alabama A&M. FAMU's been, they've been improving steadily in the pass game. Southern being in the top half is also kind of a surprise, but this team is throwing more this season, so the numbers are increasing. Passing defense, Jackson State 114 per game, Texas Southern 140 per game, Alabama State 180.9, Southern 187.5, Prairie View 193.8, Pine Bluff 214.3. Again, Valley last place in defense, passing defense at 320 per game. Texas Southern's defense has been playing really well this season overall. So being second place in passing defense is definitely a big thing. 10 interceptions for the Tigers, which ties for the league lead with Southern. So that both defenses have been playing well. Alabama State, again, a top 4-5 defense in every category. Jackson State leads in everything. Pine Bluff passing defense hasn't been that bad to say they've had a couple of rough weeks. That's been something that's they've been up and down, but they are trying to find their way. Prairie View has only allowed 8 sacks on the season. Jackson State 9, Southern and Alcorn 11, FAMU and Texas Southern 14. Valley allows the most at 23, and Bethune-Cookman allows 21. All those teams in the top part, they have very good offensive lines. Jackson State's offensive line has improved by leaps and bounds over last season. They're doing a better job of protecting the quarterback. Alcorn's offensive line has improved from last season. Prairie View and Southern both had really good offensive lines returning. FAMU same. TSU's offensive line has been really solid as well. Total sacks by the defense, Jackson State 25, Alcorn 21, Southern 20, FAMU 17, Bama State 15, A&M 15. Texas Southern had 6 sacks as a defense, and Bethune-Cookman with 6 as well. Obviously, number one is no surprise. Alcorn's pass rush has been really good. They had 10 sacks against McNeese. That's a huge number. Southern's been, doing it by committee, and they're right there in the mix. FAMU the same. So a lot of these defenses are pretty solid. They're playing good football and generating that pressure. Let's just take a quick look at the third down conversions. That's something that I'm really always big on. Southern leads the league in third down conversions at 47%. Jackson State 46, Alabama State 37, Alcorn 36, FAMU 35, TSU 33.9. Grambling is only converting 25% on third downs. Valley 27%. Third down defense, Jackson State 21%. Texas Southern 31, Bama State 31.7, Southern 33.3, FAMU 34, Grambling 34. Again, that Texas Southern defense has been a lot better this season. The offense has been up and down, but the defense has been so much better this season. Jarvion Howard is the leading rusher in the league. He has 725 yards, 6.1 yards per carry, 8 touchdowns. He has 120 yards per game. Kayvon Britton coming off that big game this afternoon. 754 total yards. He's averaging 107 yards per game. He has 12 touchdowns on the season. They both have a 78-yarder, and Britton's averaging 6.2 yards per carry. Wilkerson 461 yards and 3 touchdowns. Maud Antoine 455 yards and 4 touchdowns. Eaglin 526 yards and 5 touchdowns. Bird 350 And 1 touchdown. Bashawn McCray, 397 and 4 touchdowns. Passing, Shador Sanders, 187 of 256, 1,998 yards, 22 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 73% completion rate. Um, Jeremy Musa, 143 of 254, 11 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 1,737 yards, completing 56% of his passes. Jalen Jones, 84 of 157, 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 1,104 yards. He's completed 53% of his passes. Bashawn McCray, 76 of 117, 6 touchdowns. 10 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 65% completion rate, 1,018 yards. Aaron Allen from Alcorn, 87 of 142, 61% completion rate, 973 yards, 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Andrew Body, 116 of 200, 1,277 yards, 6 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 58 completion rate. Receiving, Xavier Smith has 54 catches for 609 yards, 7 touchdowns. Dallas Daniels, 38 catches, 448 yards, 6 touchdowns. Derek Morton for Texas Southern, 33 catches, 517 yards and a touchdown. Jamare Sharee, 30 catches, 421 yards and a touchdown. Shane Hooks, 34 catches, 347 yards, 5 touchdowns. Lyndon Rash, 22 catches, 399 yards, 4 touchdowns. The leading scorer right now is Kayvon Britton. He has 72 points. He's averaging 10 points per game. Javion Howard's averaging 8 points per game. He has 48 points. The leading scorer, as far as kickers go, is Romo Martinez from FAMU. He has 54 points, 77.7 points per game. And Alejandro Mata from Jackson State, 46 points, 7.7 points per game. Defensively, the leading tackler right now is Bubba Adams from Alabama State. He has 70 total tackles, 61 for Lewis Matthews from Grambling. Isaiah Major has 58. Jalen Campbell from, Jacob Williams from Texas Southern has 62. Jalen Campbell from Southern has 36. He's averaging 7.2 tackles per game. D. Anderson from Texas Southern has 42 tackles. Tackles for loss, Ronnie Thomas from Valley has 13 and a half. Trey Lang from Southern has 10. Niles Gaddy and Zarion Hayes from Alabama A&M, they have 9 tackles for loss apiece. Jesse Evans for Prairie View has 7.5. Sacks, Ronnie Thomas leads the league with 7 sacks. Gaddy, 5.5. Stevens from FAMU, 6. Jordan Lewis, 4. Reagan and Ballard from Alcorn have 3. Charles Brown and Trey Lang from Southern have 3.5. Isaiah Land with 3. Interceptions. Isaiah Hamilton from Texas Southern has 4 interceptions. Amari Hill Robinson and Corion Harris from Southern each have 3. And then there's a lot of guys with 2. So just wanted to run through some of these stats real quick today. Didn't want to go too deep into it, but wanted to give an idea of who's leading in certain things and some of the people who are to look out for. Some of the teams right now that are surprising, some are a disappointment. We're gonna dive deeper into this next week as we continue to move into the midpoint of the season, and that's gonna do it for this show today. Make sure y'all catch us Wednesday when we drop our Week 8 preview, and of course, SWAC Smoke live on Thursdays, and Week 8 recap on Sunday. So that's gonna do it for us, and we'll catch you guys on the rebound. Peace.